Do you hate Silvally? Do you hate Oricorio? Do you hate Sylveon? All those decks that run those engines. If you hate any of those cards, then this is the deck for you. Fight Lechonk, otherwise known as Donphan EX deck. I actually thought that Donphan wasn't actually going to be a good card, but in the past 24 hours, there's been a lot of people cooking decks with Donphan, and it seems to be a really strong anti-meta deck in this format. And honestly, I think it's gonna end up being like maybe like a strong tier 2 or tier 1 deck. We'll see how it performs in the Earthsea Day tournament, but I really do think this deck's gonna cook. Now, I'll just put this on the screen. It'll appear on the screen, but I was really inspired from this deck list from a Japanese player, so I'm not gonna take like full credit of this deck. I didn't come up with this deck, kind of just net decked in and kind of like made one singular change. But honestly, I feel like the one singular change is not really needed. And there's also other cards that you can kind of run this deck too, which we'll get into later. But we'll go over the skeleton of this deck. Basically, what it is just a really fast rush deck. It's just a rush down deck. It's really strong in the early game, and that's pretty much the strength of this deck, and also just the fact of that a lot of powerful decks in this format are weak to fighting. Type no Savali, weak to fighting decks. Has fighting weakness. Oricorio, obviously again, fighting weakness. Eevee, base Eevee, fighting weakness. So you basically, what you want to do is you want to get rid of the basic versions of these evolutions before they can evolve and get their engines going. You want to kill Eevee before the Sylveon comes down. You want to kill Typno before the Silvally comes down. And then same thing with Oricorio counter. So let's go over all the cards in this deck. Now, obviously, I don't need to talk about Lucario. Lucario is there to boost up your damage. And why do you want your damage boost up? For this man right here, the MVP, honestly, very nuts card in this deck. Very absolutely disgusting card in this deck. So, what this boy does here, baby Pokemon. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name because I suck at pronouncing it. 0 energy cost. You don't even have to play any energy on this attack. Slappy Knuckle does 20 damage. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's 30 HP, it's going to die. But here's the thing. In the Silvally matchup, they start out with Type Null. You start out with this boy right here, and you go first, you have the potential of just going crazy on your opponent. Just going crazy on your opponent. That's basically the best way I can say it, because you are getting to attack on your going first. Getting attack going first. They have weakness, so this is hitting for 40 damage. And then if you activate a Giovanni, this is hitting for 50. It's insane. It's really strong. And then on their opponent's turn, they attack you. They can evolve into their Silvally right away. They just have to use a Type Null attack, and then it's a 50-50 coin flip if they get heads and can do 40 damage. If they lose that 50-50 coin flip, they're only doing 20 damage, and this guy survives. And then on your next turn, you just attack with it again, and boom, their Type Null's gone, and now they can only go into one Silvally that entire game. It's insane. It's really strong. In the Oricorio matchup, if they start out the game with Oricorio, you start out with this guy here, you're hitting for 40 or 50 damage on your first turn, going first. And that just really then just sets up that Oricorio to get sniped with Cyrus, with other things in this deck. Also too, now, another situation, if you are going second and you're playing against a Silvally, Eevee, or Oricorio deck, is if you start with Fanfi here. This is the new Fanfi from the A4 set. Really strong card. Its ability is, its attack is Reckless Charge, so for 1 fighting energy, does 30 damage, but also does 10 damage to itself. We don't really care about this 10 damage too much. There's certain situations where it can be a bit annoying, but it's also nice if you tech other cards in this deck, which I'll get into later. But why it's so strong for 30 damage is, once again, has advantage against all of these Pokemon that are weak to fighting, and that is also why we run 2 Giovanni in this deck, because you can go second, play Giovanni, and now your Fanfi is dealing 60 damage. That one attack just like one hit KOs your opponent's Eevees. That one hit KOs almost one-hit KOs an Oricorio. But the big thing is the one-hit KOing EVs, because EV is going to be running on rampant in this format, because EV decks with Sylveon are really good. So there's that. But yeah, you're getting tons of damage on an Oricorio right away, right out the gate. You're getting tons of damage on the Type Null right out the gate. So yeah, that's why. I only have the one copy so far, so I'm running a Fanfi here. It's not the biggest end of the world to run this old Fanfi, but it definitely feels better if you have double Fanfi. Now, and then Marshadow is here as well. Marshadow is basically just here to be another finisher in this deck. There are some games where you don't get some of your other pieces, and just Marshadow with Lucario is still good. The revenge attack, and you're just hitting for 120. So that just feels really nice. There are certain situations where Marshadow is really good, but it's more just like a backup card. It's not your main win con. It's like your backup win con. It's a really good like mid game, late game pivot card. Now let's talk about Donphan here. I thought this card was bad at first, and I was immediately proven wrong. I'm very happy that I pulled copies of the card. So what it does, evolves from Fanfi, obviously, 160 HP. Stage 1 too. That's the other thing that's really strong about it, is that it's a stage 1 Pokemon. It, for 1 energy of fighting, gigantic press, 50 damage, and then if this Pokemon has at least 2 extra fighting energy attached, this attack does 60 more damage, so it's going in for 110 damage with a Lucario on the bench hitting for 130, and then you can pump that up even further with a Giovanni. And then once again, like I talked about earlier, a lot of decks in this format are weak to fighting types. So a lot of times, like just on curve, you evolve into Donphan, and then you're hitting for 70 damage with 1 energy. So you're hitting similar numbers to one of the really annoying Pokemon in this format, which is Crobat EX. So you are just harassing your opponent very early on with this deck. So that's why it's really good. Again, 2 Pokeballs, obviously, research, 2 Giovanni. We talked about the importance of Giovanni, just like the rush factor of this deck. Just again, really good with Tyroge, I think that's how you pronounce it. Donphan, just really good with Donphan. Makes magic numbers with Donphan. 130 is a really good number in this game. Marshadow helps make magic numbers there. Some games you're gonna end up going into Lucario, but that's not really desired. If you're in a game where you have Lucario in the active zone, and the game's probably not going your way. But sometimes it can help with Lucario hitting 90, or then 110, depending on the Pokemon you're playing against. Cyrus is just here because I was kind of like on stream when I was playing with this deck. I was kind of going back and forth of whether Cyrus is good or not in this deck. But Cyrus is just good to kind of like, if you know, like sometimes you can't one-shot that Oricorio right away, so they might try to pivot out the Oricorio to save for later. Cyrus is good for that. Or they might try to pivot out some of their other really important Pokemon. Cyrus is good for that. So you can kind of play around with the ratios there. The cards that you can play around with the ratios are the Cyrus, the Sabrinas, and Hiker, or another card you can run this deck. So we'll get into that later. So you can play around with those ratios, suit yourself what you want, you know? You don't have to copy this deck bar for bar. You can kind of play around with other cards. But yeah, Cyrus is really good in this deck. Just with testing. With testing, I was kind of not feeling that Cyrus was that good in the deck at first, but since I played more games, Cyrus, I think, is like something you need to run this deck. Another really good card in this deck is Sabrina, because there's some situations where Cyrus isn't really that good. Your opponent doesn't have any damage on their bench Pokemon, so sometimes Sabrina is really nice to have there. So tech slot with Sabrina. You can kind of play around with your own ratios. You might want to run 2 copies of Sabrina and then 1 copy of Cyrus. You know, it's up to you. Feel it out. Make your own choice. Have your own agency in this game. That's pretty much what I like to push. So yeah, Sabrina is really nice in those situations where, like, again, they have the Oricorio in the active spot. You only have your Donphan there in the active spot, and you can't really switch into something else, because that's the problem with Donphan, is that it has 3 retreat costs. That issue can kind of get mitigated by another card you can tech in the deck, which we'll get into later. Keep foreshadowing this, but we'll talk about it. But Sabrina's really nice in those situations. Now, Hiker, I originally wasn't really too fond of this card, but after playing with it, I see the vision with this card. So what it does is, for each of your fighting Pokemon in play, you look at that many cards at the top of your deck and put them back in any order. So if you have a full board, you can look at the top 4 and you can arrange them however you want. That is really nice to set up your next few turns, so that, like, you know, you can get what you need so that you don't like brick. You know, it can solve bricking issues. You know, use a hiker, and then next turn use research, get what you need to go. Get what you need. I've won some games just off of hiker. Just like I needed like the Lucario next turn to go into, and then I use hiker, and then you know I can get my Lucario evolution, or like I needed Donphan and I wasn't getting it, and I use hiker, and then I got the Donphan out, and I could win the game that way. The only problem with hiker is that like there's a lot of cards in this format right now that people are using that shuffle cards back into your deck. There's Mars, there's red card, and there's silver. So all of those cards basically make hiker kind of useless in those scenarios. So that's why you can argue that hiker's not needed, but hey, sometimes it cooks. So it's really up to you. I'd say it's more like 50-50 card. Now, the card that you can tech into this deck, that is not in this deck list, actually. Wow, what the hell is going on? Is Lyra. I think there is a good case to be made of just at least adding one copy of Lyra in this deck. I don't think 2 is good. I tried 2. Feels kind of clunky. But teching one copy of Lyra, I do feel there is a good argument to be made. You can decide if you want to remove a copy of hiker and just put Lyra instead, or you could just remove a copy of I don't know, like Cyrus, and then just put Lyra in your deck. Feel it out for yourself. But what Lyra does is switch your active Pokemon that does damage on it one of your bench Pokemon. Now, why is this good? Because when your Donphan gets damage on it, and sometimes you want to pivot into something else, you want to pivot into like something else to attack, that's when it can be good. That's when it can be good. Or you want to save on energy, and you don't want to use energy to retreat, that's when it can be good. Or like you again, there's some situations where your Donphan's going to be the active zone, your opponent's going to have Oricorio there, and you're not going to have like Sabrina or your Cyrus in your hand. Or Cyrus is going to be in your hand, but it's kind of useless because, it can't be used because there's no damage on your opponent's bench Pokemon. So sometimes in those scenarios, that's when Lyra can be good so that you can pivot into something else and then just get rid of that Oricorio so that you can just continue bashing your opponent's head in with the trunk of Donphan. So there's an argument to be made for Lyra. So you kind of have to play it out. Make your own decision on what you want. But so far, this deck list has been going on pretty good for me. But yeah, this is the Donphan deck. I think it's really insane. It's actually very surprising how strong this deck is looking so far in like the first day coming out of the set. So we'll see how this deck ages. We'll see how it does in the Earth City tournament. We'll see if it's actually an overhyped deck or not over the next few days. One thing that I am kind of worried about with this deck is Buzzwole kind of being used more frequently in ranked. I feel like people are going to start running Buzzwole because of Donphan to kind of counter it. So we'll see what happens. But we're probably gonna have like a kind of like a triangle format once again, or other shapes. But yeah, we'll see. There's also the other thing too of like sometimes in Pokemon Pocket you just kind of like say screw it. If I run into my worst matchup, F it, I'll just hop in, quit, and then just go into playing more games and hope that I play against my good matchups. Because every deck in this format that's seemingly good has bad matchups. So it is what it is there. But again, I think Donphan is going to be a really strong contender in this format because a lot of decks play Pokemon that are weak to fighting types, and this deck is extremely fast. So yeah, I'm going to stop the yapping. I'm going to show some gameplay and just let the cards do the talking, and the cards are going to show that, like, deck's good. So again, appreciate y'all. Drop a sub, drop a like if you enjoy the content, and yeah, I'll see y'all the next one, and we're gonna see Donphan just go crazy and again drop its trunk on the table. We're going first, yes. Oh yeah, oh, wait, oh wait, oh that's so good, oh my god. Yes! Okay. This is when this card feels great. Oh man. Oh, that feels nice. Oh, that feels nice. Turn 1 doing 50 damage, no energy. No energy used. Turn 1, 50 damage. And because of the way this deck plays, yeah. Oh, that's going in the video. That's going in the video. That's going in the video. Alright, let's... Well, I guess we'll start with you. We don't really have a better option. I don't want to clog up my board yet, so I'll keep these two in my hand for now. Going first would have been like way better. This boy is in our hand. We want to go first. The target name Slappy Knuckle. The flavor text. It is always bursting with energy to make itself stronger. It keeps on fighting even if it loses. Shonen Core. What is my opponent gonna do? What is my opponent gonna do? They're being the thinker right now. The thinker! Yeah, I say like 1 more hour and then I go get food. I'm hungry. I'll probably like make some hot dogs. Let's go Super Fires. Yeah, I'll probably do hot dogs. Alright. My opponent was stumped. I almost did that. That was stupid. Doing good, doing good. Him with a slappy knuckle. Just doing some ranked. My pulls are really good too. So, I think I did 50, yeah. I did 30 on the Ho-Oh pack and then 30 on... Why did I put up 2? I did 30 on the Ho-Oh pack and then I did 20 on the Lugia pack. I pretty much can build a Lugia Ho-Oh deck, although I don't know how good that deck is actually going to be, but we'll see. I'm not going to play with it on stream until like until we get the immersive art and everything fixed, so I'm waiting for that. Right now, I'm just gonna play with Donphan today. Alrighty. Close. Opponent just conceded word. Another win! Going first? Do we have the combo? Yes! Bro, I'm telling you, it feels so disgusting. It feels so disgusting starting with this card. It feels so disgusting. My sub expired? No worries. Alright. Starting off with this boy here is so nasty going first. It feels so good. Like immediate 40 damage because of the weakness. Oh, man. And so many decks run Pokemon that are weak to fighting right now. So that just feels great. That feels so good. So good. And then the no retreat cost is gas. I really hope my opponent doesn't flip heads. It'd be great if my opponent didn't flip heads. That's annoying. Cool. Wait, don't I just win the game off right here? Don't I just win the game? Yeah, I think I just win the game off Lucario. my... Yo, is that hilarious, bro? Like, there's nothing of value with that card. It just sucks. It's so bad. Like, we're this deep into this game, they should not be printing cards with effects like Shuffle. Like, EXs? No, hell. No. Hell. Alright. Charizard deck? Okay, cool. I'm actually gonna use this right now. I'm actually gonna pick it. Yeah, it kind of sucks that we don't have our second copy of the fan fee. Then we would have been able to, like, guaranteed kill Charizard next turn if my opponent doesn't evolve. Oh, that would have been nice. Or they could do that. Yeah, I see the vision with Hiker. Like, if you have a full board and you check top 4 and you can, like, rearrange your cards, that could be really nice. The nice sucky part about it is that, like, your opponent can kind of get around it by, just, like, using any cards to, like, shuffle your deck. So, there's that. Alright. If they don't get their Charizard out next turn, we just win the game, which is nice. Really nice. Do they have it? Yes or no? Alright, research. Gonna see if they can get their win condition. Seems like they got it. No, they did not. They did not. They did not. Right, they are in a really bad spot then. Well, technically next turn they could... next turn they could, like, top deck... Actually, you know what? No, I actually want to build this guy up. Because next turn if they get Charizard going... No, Charizard can't even kill. Next turn. No, yeah, I'm gonna build up Donphan. I love the sound effect too when it attacks. Super nice. Oh my god, it's actually so hilarious, bro. It's like that meme where it's like, I hate this person, and then the next day, me and my bestie. That's me with Donphan. Man, screw the Skarmory, man. I should have pulled a Rainbow Donphan. I should have pulled my GOAT. Now he's my GOAT. Oh my god. Yeah, very high likelihood that they get their Charizard going this turn, yeah. But yeah, these Charizard decks, very rarely do they run red right now. I don't think a lot of people are running red just because of fear of Oricorio existing. So I think we're okay with just trying to build up the Donphan and try to get the 110 damage going. That is not good. Not good. I am going to bet on the chance that they do not actually, like, run red, and if they run red, then, like, cool, I lose the game, but, like, that'd be a cringe moment. That'd be a cringe moment. There's also the worry of Lily. That's the other thing. Yeah, I was worried about that. All right. I think we're still okay though, actually, because again, they haven't killed. Great. Never mind, we just win. All right, cool. Never mind. All right. Great. Hit for 130, great. Yo, Donphan top 1! Donphan top 1, bro! Top 1 Donphan. Top 1 Donphan. Top 1 Donphan, bro. Top 1 Donphan, bro. Nuke Charizard, bro. Oh, we're going second. I would like to go first. I would like to go first. That would have been desired. Desired outcome. Oh. Well, at the very least, we're attacking with something. We're still getting to build energy on something else. So there's that. There's that benefit of going second. Let's put the roll down. 40. Best case scenario, they flip only tails next turn. Harvest is coming. Harvest is coming. You know, with Donphan running around, I think we might end up seeing a resurgence of Buzzwole. Like in the Ursi Days tournament, I feel like people shouldn't be surprised if we start seeing just a bunch of Buzzwole decks. If the Buzzwole deck wins that tournament, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's my prediction. That's my prediction what will happen. Or it will be a thing of like, or the Choreo decks get taken out by the Donphan and Donphan decks, and then the Buzzwole decks just get taken out by Charizard, and then Donphan can just sweep. So that's my prediction too. But this is so stupid. I don't actually have to put my EX in the active spot and let it get damaged by that sucks. I have to let it get damaged by Mr. Rampardos. Just do this. That's low-key stupid. That's very nasty. That's very nasty. Very nasty. Now, if I can just top deck my Donphan next turn, I'd pretty much win. Because they can't really go into Rampardos, or else they basically set themselves up to lose. So they have to stay here on their stage 1. But then there's also the fear of like, okay, I can. Oh. So yeah, if I top deck my boss, if I top deck Donphan next turn, I just win. So this comes down to the game giving me like the card, bro. No, alright, well. This is now a scenario where we're fucked. Now I think we just lose, because we just fucking didn't. Game fucking sold. Game fucking sold. Like, I'm doing this in like the event that for whatever reason my opponent runs Lily. Actually, it doesn't even matter because they would if they activate Lily to survive. I'm actually pissed about that. I'm actually pissed off. I could have legitimately just won the game. Like legitimately, if I draw a Donphan, I win the game. But game at other plans. Game at other plans. Game at other plans. Game said we have other plans for you. We have other plans. The only good thing right now is that I have Marshadow on bench, so that's pressure for their Savali. So I think I still am in a winning position. Still no Donphan is crazy. But I think it doesn't matter at this point. Because if they attack with Rampardos, Rampardos dies. And then, you know, if they have their Savali on bench, they would need a Savali with a Cape to survive. Alright, cool, we win. Was worried a bit. But we're okay, we win. That is why Marshadow is in this deck. As another potential win con. Yeah, too late, buddy. Okay, though. Marshadow for game! Big punch! Revenge! Revenge punch! You know what? I think I'm gonna end things here. I might pick up and stream again later tonight.